Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout 3. So we are in this maintenance shaft, or engineering core maintenance level, uh, but our companion didn't come with us through that, so hopefully she'll just be back when we get to this. I looked up a couple of things I should just mention now. Um, First of all, there's, let's see, somewhere around about here a apparently I am over here, which is funny because it seems like my goal is to get back to Megaton, um, which I thought I was at Megaton. But I guess it wouldn't make sense that we're still just here according to the map. Somewhere around here is Signal Oscar Zulu, which these aren't enabled at the moment, and these are all locations in which people were using the ham radios to send out signals. So the ham radios that we've been seeing throughout the entire game were actually activating these radio signals that would then take us to a few locations, and that's about it. Like, there's nothing more to it. It's not part of the main story as far as I can tell at all. I also found out that our mutant companion is one of 8 companions. There are 2 that you have to have positive um, moral stance with to get, 2 that you have to have neutral moral stance, and 2 that you have to get a negative stance. And as and then there are 2 like dog meat that you can get no matter what. There's like a bad guy in Megaton. There was a bad slave girl, um, Clover from Evergreen Mills. Um, there's dog meat. There's Fox, who is the super mutant character. Um, there is one of the characters from Vault 101. And apparently, you could have made him a companion when you went back to visit Vault 101, one of the gang members. There is Sharon from Underworld. Fox, by the way, is in Underworld too, wherever that is. Yeah, somewhere around here. Um, I have no idea why he specifically went to Underworld, but whatever. I guess that might make the most sense. Um, the scrapyard where you find the dog meat, inside of that is a locked door. That locked door leads to the bad guy who wants the ears if you'd taken the perk to kill good people and collect their ears. So, regular HQ is here, and the opposite of regulator HQ is here. Pretty much in the exact same spot in the map. And somewhat central location, but not that central. Um, is there anything else to cover as I did more research? Just to answer any niggling and nagging questions, as there were. Seems like at some point you could discover Vault 87, at least maybe in the original version of the game. Also, in the original version of the game, if you went back to Vault 87, you would have been able to get through that locked door, but it was an unfinished part of the map. There's literally just a hole to nothingness there, which kind of makes sense because supposed to be there was supposed to be a direct nuclear bomb right on the door of Vault 87, so a hole going into deep darkness does kind of make sense. But they've just locked it for the Game of the Year edition, and I bet there's more things like that, certainly. The Dunwich building, I would have to go back and look and see if I could get more backstory to that with its Lovecraftian story that's just out of nowhere. the Lovecraftian story in the Dunwich building, in a lot of ways, is very similar to the Project Zeta DLC that we're doing now, which is, I think it's called Project Zeta or Mothership Zeta or something. Something Zeta. The alien DLC we're doing right now. Yeah, maybe we could go through this maintenance bay, and inside this maintenance bay we'll find a translator, but we may also go through this maintenance bay and just find a well, probably not too much of anything really. We might find a ship. That's one thing that occurs to me, is that these might be escape pods, and when the time is ready we may just jump in these escape pods. Let's see. There you have Sally. She shouldn't be here.
Hey, I didn't know you were exploring too. You don't know where we are, do you?
We're lost on Sweet. An incredible smell you've discovered.
No way! Well, maybe a little. I bet we can find something neat, though. Yeah, it's kind of stinky in here.
I wonder if this is supposed to be a start.
Yeah, you're probably right. Wait, did you feel that? We're moving. Cool.
So she's just messing with this. So apparently we had a whole side quest we could do with this.
Oh, I get it. We're in one of those trash cans that were on the ship. I always wondered where these things go.
So this is a trash can. So it's almost like a rail shooter. Like an on-rail shooter. There are no elevators really in the game. Apparently you can tip over those cows, I guess, if you attack them unhanded. All of these things seem to be stuck to the ground, specifically because we're going different ways. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just an exploring section. No. Seems like it's gonna keep it going until I kill them all.
Let me see if I can figure something out.
Everything fades to black now. And we have an actual cutscene, which this is very weird. So, are we getting back to the trash area we had been in before? Kind of feel like we probably would. Like, where are we now? Waste disposal. Let's go ahead and heal. There's no reason not to. Got plenty of stems. It doesn't reset me.
Hey, are you okay? Skin knee or anything like that? I think I'm okay. You don't look so good, though.
Let's see.
You really must have hit your head. Unless you're Captain Cosmos and have a rocket pack we can use, that's not happening. I think we're in the trash section of the ship. Ugh, yucky.
I still don't know if I really trust
Okay.
this
I'll try and find a way to
girl.
help you get out of there. Otherwise, see you back at the core.
It does seem like this was just another opportunity to have a Leon S. Kennedy Ashley section like Resident Evil 4, which I imagine Resident Evil 4 came out before this. If not, this is your standard kind of useless companion. There's a lot less mess here. I mean, a lot more mess here than anywhere else we've seen. Seems like it's straight up just trying to crush random metal components down. Is that what this ship needs to repair itself and maintain itself, is to constantly have raw material? Here we have a save. Like the game is just gonna remind you that safes exist. So yeah, this feels like what you would do to turn that short sequence in video game in Star Wars, where they're in the trash compactor, into a video game thing. See, here it is again. PipOS error 26, file not found. Drone cannon. In the lower left hand corner there. So there's some kind of glitch there.
Oh yeah, they definitely know we're here. Don't let them sneak up on you.
This definitely feels like they're messing up their own facility as much as the humans were in the core. And at a certain level, I almost wonder if this whole thing is just a simulation and the world is just getting dirtier and more Fallout-esque. Of course, this could also just have been an experiment on, like, hey, if this is going to be a crashed mothership the whole time, like, if the whole time this was a crashed mothership and we actually have not left space, then, or we haven't actually left into space, then maybe that would explain why this is so damaged. Buff out and stim packs sitting all around. I don't enjoy the idea of opening the door and I don't know why I'm picking up so much stuff still. Yeah, I don't enjoy the idea of opening a door and having something just immediately attack me. Just a lot of garbage. So I turned off the crusher. And this is very video gamey. Certainly. To have crushing elements that may kill you at the very first move. We'll just take all the food. I guess those guys jumped down from there. I guess maybe this is just an experiment in really close quarters combat. Would make more sense to have done this sequence. Like, this is kind of like a midway point thing that would make sense, but still doesn't quite make sense once we have guns. If this had all gone a lot longer, perhaps then there would have been an argument that this could have been the point where you start to run low on bullets, but that is not really likely to happen. What is this? Supposed to be some kind of shield projector? If this introduced a more cover-based combat thing, there might be something to that idea. You can't move these, it seems. Can we destroy these? No. We got a lot of smash spots all over. There's another captive log. Much to my surprise, there's actually a couple of comments and mentions of Vault 76 in this game. So, probably 15 years later, 15 years before Fallout 76 came out, they were setting the stage. Although, in all fairness, all they really are saying about Vault 76 is that, unlike all the other vaults, there really was no hidden agenda for Vault 76. It was the one that was specifically designed to have 500 people leave the vault and be spared when the bombs dropped, and nothing else to it. Unlike Vault 101, which was designed to make it so it would never open up again and basically have inbreeding just keep on going once they started running out of things. Speaking of inbreeding, seems like Vault 69, where there was only one man and 99 women, also probably wouldn't have lasted a single generation. It just doesn't really make sense. You've got to have a pretty either strong-willed populace or a populace with way different morals than what you would expect to allow that first generation of inbreeding to happen. Usually inbreeding happens after several generations where you're marrying this cousin that you've forgotten about. But even if there were, say, 20 men and 20 women, even in that next generation, you are going to have to either work really hard so none of the brothers and sisters that are born out of that first generation don't end up
Let's get back to the court and never speak of this
inbreeding.
again. Sure, there's a teleporter nearby that I found. Race ya.
It seems to me like she didn't really give us anything for doing this whole section. Except for that. There's a lot of health packs, I guess, here. And a samurai sword. So, maybe the samurai guy was supposed to go with us in this trip. And of course, Sally's a kid, so she's not going to die as a kid. Let's see. See if we've got anything else we can drop. All 4 of that. 10 shock batons is probably more than enough. Yeah. Seems like we got 1 captive person's dialogue, and if I jump down there, I don't know if I could get back up, so I'm gonna just opt to not do that. Like, I don't know what would stop me from. Let's see. If I jump down here, I feel like the whole thing would go back the whole way. Let's make a safety save. What happens if I come down here? Oh, nothing. You're squeezed here, so you can't fall down. Interesting. Okay. So.
Only 1 more of those damn generators to go, and we can get the hell out of here. What's on your mind? Here you go.
Take some more of those.
Nice. Hope this is important. Heck. Yeah, sure. I'll keep your spot warm.
Like, it didn't seem like that triggered any scripted experience or anything. And I don't think we can talk to the samurai guy any further. I found this sword. Is it yours? I know you can't understand me, but I thought you might want this sword. So, we gave him a sword. Of course, there's a danger in that. We'll talk to Sally, who's lying down on this mat.
What you want?
So.
Be careful, lady.
Maybe all you can really do is just give him a sword. Which maybe empowers him or protects him in some future point. So we might keep at least most of these people alive. This guy has a stun baton. So let's go check out the engine room next. Door to the cargo hold. She came with us. Is this somewhere we've been before? Yes. This was what led to the research. Alright. Because that was the door to the cargo hold. I went the wrong way. Let's go over to the other side. This is a fairly big level. Or dungeon. It's way bigger than anything else we've seen. But I don't know if I really appreciate it being bigger. If anything, it just still, even though it's different visuals for sure, it still really just screams to me that there's too much. Like, there's already too much game, so having a giant collection of dungeons on top of dungeons makes the whole thing just feel like it's its own separate experience and its own separate game. Which, once again, this would be like a great example of something that could have been released a couple years later, 3 or 4 years after Fallout 3, and bought them a lot of time. As far as, I guess we'll be fighting a lot of, I think we'll be shooting a lot of support drones. Seems like there's a lot of drones here that won't attack. Interesting. Okay. You have kind of like these tables. I'm hearing all kinds of sound effects. The level of stealth, I think, is weird for these aliens. They have stealth. Alright. So this is supposed to be an engine room. And it is cleaner. If we look at the map, seems like this one is disabled. See what that control does. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to come back and search this whole area a second time. One of the questions certainly to ask is, did Bethesda make the right choice by limiting the types of games, the names that they put on the games they make, down to Fallout and Elder Scrolls? Like, because you could have, conversely, I guess that's a computer terminal equivalent. Like, you could have conversely released this as its own experience. Instead of putting the Fallout name on it. And I don't think anybody would have particularly cared. Or felt like that was an egregious thing to do. In fact, that's very industry standard to have a several different games come out under your company name. And if anything, it really makes it very questionable why ZeniMax as a parent company of Bethesda even exists when there's not that many games that are published by ZeniMax. Otherwise, they've basically, I think, acquired a couple other companies, and that's where I imagine the ZeniMax parent company came from. Seriously. It's not like he's hurting me, but it's taking forever. There's definitely room for games like this to just have the characters take a massive increase in damage after the first or second or third hit. What they often do is once your bullets get down to the last shot, that's when they will do a massive amount of damage. So it'll feel like you almost ran out of bullets. Of course, in this case, I'm not going to almost run out of bullets anytime soon. So I guess this is another enemy spawning platform. It doesn't really feel like... Doesn't really feel like we're going anywhere though with this. These alien crystals feel like they should really be currencies for something, but I don't know what the currency could be. I'm assuming that they're actually just bullets. And I definitely would be upset if I found out that there was a whole mini quest here to like there's a whole mini quest designed around collecting all of the alien crystals possible. Well, oddly, it seems to me like there's nothing here. Yeah, so it does seem like we're going to come back to this area later. Because didn't seem like that did anything. This may just be a case where you have to destroy this first.
Isn't this fancy? All these shiny machines and such. Gotta find a generator, huh? Let's see. How about we start with that teleporter thing?
I imagine she's gonna end up teleporting herself away.
This place is incredible.
You have real scripted dialogue here.
You'd even be a match for the Brotherhood of Steel.
Like she really does. This really does feel like this could have just been its own separate game in the Fallout universe.
Sure what I'm doing here, but I'll try and tinkle with it. You just
If anything,
make sure I
this
don't get shot, okay?
this kind of feels like the differences that I've heard Fallout New Vegas has, too. Since Fallout New Vegas was basically made by a completely different group of people. Where'd you go? You should get teleported. She's way over there. Alright, we've got a problem where she's gonna potentially die. We're too far away. And so you've got these like fancy treadmills now with things going through it. Robot parts. Taking the same concept of the junk treadmills, but making it a bit fancier for their own items. Like glass.
Alright, now that things have quieted down, I'll see if there's something up here I can push to stop more of those tin cans from showing up. Maybe I can turn off some other stuff too, and maybe I'll find a way back down. You keep looking for that generator. Well, if this is where they make the robots, we may be able to discover some way to weaken or control them. Be on the lookout for any gizmos or schematics.
This is another great example.
Huh. How about that? He's gone. I didn't even notice. Hope he doesn't get himself into trouble.
Who is Cage? I don't even remember.
Go on, don't let me stop you.
Seems like there's definitely some dialogue that just you're allowed to have prematurely. Yeah, it would probably be really nice if you could do this DLC a second time, or play a new game plus and have something along the lines of the support drone controller, which is, I assume, what we're going to find. I almost wonder if these gels, these crystals we're picking up, are actually just health things. Let's come back over here and just see if this was a spawn in point also. Yeah. So it doesn't actually seem like there's too much to this level. Although it does seem like you could possibly sneak around and get around to that. This is just another spawn point. This is just another spawn point. It's really a mistake to have them have the other aliens make the same sound. Like, they should probably make a completely different sound or just not speak at all. Right, so you can get back here, but there is nothing back here. So around we go to a new area where something might start attacking me at any point, but who knows? But yeah, once you're done with this DLC, my assumption is you can never do it again, even in the Game of the Year version, which that would be something you probably would want to patch, is that there ideally would have been, even after we finished the main story, a new game plus option. And it doesn't have to be something that you go back to the main menu and say New Game Plus, although it probably should be that. It could be something more Bethesda-y, where you just get a perk that would reset you, reset everything in the game back to where it was at the beginning. There's a turret over there, I think, shooting after our companion. It's not even trying to hurt me. I wonder if these support drones are, for the most part, wonder if they're weak and can't actually attack. So it seems like anywhere I go, she kind of goes the same way, which really highlights the danger of like a proximity alarm. Am I going the right way? No, I don't think I am. So we came in here. We've got to find a different door. This is another spawn room. This is... yeah, we've overloaded the assembly line. Alright. So that seems like that was the only way forward. What's shooting at me and from where? Feels like something is hitting me with something big. It's probably that. Yet somehow somebody else has just run up to me and hitting me with stun baton. Not sure where these shots are even coming from. These round pods stand out quite a bit. Because there really isn't a lot of pods, circular things, in general in this game. I'm getting hit quite a lot here. I don't know if it is just that this alien is running around activating more drones, or what. This is messing me up pretty badly, though. I'm at like 3/4 health. I mean, no, I'm at 1/4 health. I lost 3/4 of my health. We have a drone control device. So, that was a specific thing. Hmm. Right, now that we have a drone control device, we can activate pods, which don't think really is going to do as much favors now. Yeah. So I suppose if you'd done this section of gameplay first, then you might have been able to make a lot better use of that. But since you didn't, or since I didn't, there's a real question here as far as just how much content did we want to see or do we want to miss. Seems like this moves the story forward if we go there. So, and these are just like Mr. Gusties following us around, I would imagine, if their AI isn't almost exactly the same as Mr. Gustie's. There's just all kinds of the same guns everywhere. So she seemingly was teleported here. So we don't have the ability to go everywhere she's been, which that's gonna save us some frustration. She was getting, I guess, teleported and jumped from place to place. I'm not seeing any extra things. No special weapons. No log. Not that I care about the logs really. Obviously, at this point, if there was an achievement, it would either be an achievement around keeping everybody alive, which I failed to do, or collecting all the logs, which I've probably gonna fail to do.
That's got to be the generator. Let's destroy it and get back to the engine core.
Before we do that, pick up what is a ridiculous amount of these items. And it is just button mashing. As much as people hate quick time events, at the very least, let me throw a counter argument. At least quick time events tend to try to look cool, whereas putting 4 alien crystals on a table to just smash the A button multiple times isn't even really trying. Alright. Let's see. Can't shoot these. And we'll just see who gets blown up by this. I mean, we could walk this way.
There. That ought to give the aliens something to think about. Now let's get the hell out of here.
We also seem to have done everything. This will teleport us back to robot assembly. Robot assembly, robot assembly. Did we go through these doors? I think we probably did. Yeah. That teleported us there, which... It's just going to be a shortcut. Unless something's going to try and attack us right now. Which that would be an interesting twist, but I'm not really expecting it. The hopes of Sally finding her sister, I feel like, could be pretty bad. I don't know why they're attacking those aliens. Who cares about them? They're the assistant aliens anyways. Yeah, this really does just feel like a glitch.
Alright, get that suit on and get outside. The sooner we get out of here, the better. Now that all 3 generators are destroyed, you're gonna have to take a walk outside. It wasn't my turn to watch him? I don't know. He was here before.
Alright.
Sure, just watch my back and I'll watch yours.
So we've got these robots, and I assume we can't really do anything with them. So this is probably the point where we're supposed to be talking to
I guess it's
Kago.
time for your spacewalk.
Wow, just
Lucky you.
pitch black.
Yeah. Just don't think about ditching me. We're in this together.
Yep. What would be interesting is if it turns out that Sally's sister is the person in charge of the aliens. Or she's working with the aliens. Wow, we are just getting increasing shelves of garbage.
Hope that little girl knows what she's talking about, or we're in for some serious trouble.
Unless, of course, there is actually some value in all this garbage. Missiles, carton of cigarettes, a bed. Yeah, more and more this does just feel like... So this is the decompression chamber. It's just kind of ridiculous. How much... Like, how are they even finding all this stuff? Just pulling it out of the trash area. Maybe I shouldn't have done the little trash thing. So Kago was the Japanese guy. So then my only thought here is need to speak to Sally first, wherever Sally is, and then there might just be some other thing. Yeah, there might be some other area that we need to go back and search. Or it might just be that he's run off. The girl's named Sally, and I wonder if that's a reference to one of the ways you can memorize the planets in the solar system is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Come on, get out of the way. Where are you, Sally? Here you are. Let's talk to her.
Wow, you did it! Now you're gonna have to go outside of the ship. I know it looks scary, but that's the only way to the top. Oh, make sure you wear a spacesuit before you go out there, or you could die. Don't forget.
Gain access to the upper levels of the alien ship. She's just sitting here.
Did you need something? Remember to wear the spacesuit before you go outside, or you could die.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually missed over Salisbury State.
So, looking at the map, robot assembly, engine room. When we went to the engine room, don't feel like we found much of anything. Cargo hold and hangar. Decompression chamber. Yeah, the only thing I could think is maybe there was something in the engine room that the ninja guy would go for, because we really didn't find anything in the engine room, and we kind of found something everywhere else. We can't teleport here. Yeah. Unless I actually needed to translate like what he said from Japanese. Yeah. I kind of just feel like we may end up going back this way anyways. Yeah. That is kind of the only thing that would make any sense, is if I had translated exactly what he said from Japanese to English, and then that translated to, we must go to the engine room, follow me, or something like that, or I'm going to the engine room. I don't even know what he could really give me as an item, just maybe an electric sword or something. I'm just looking all over the place. We're here. We'll load the autosave if we're satisfied. Yeah, there's just not really anything here. I don't feel like a character would just be hidden off in some corner area. So I kind of assume that we may have killed him on accident by... It does kind of feel like there's a secret area right here in the corner, but We may have killed him by giving him the sword. It's the only thing I could think of. The only other thing I could think.
Or who won?
You don't get it because you've never been down there. It's all gone, Tikorian. Doesn't matter who won or who started it.
Then I don't really have anything to go back to, do I? I mean, family's gone. Friends are gone. Everything I knew is gone.
Sorry. You'll just have to learn to deal with it like the rest of us. Wow. So you were down there when all this started, right before the bombs fell. It's crazy.
What's funny,
I guess so. I can't believe they went
they're
ahead
just,
with the nukes.
I think,
mean,
going
wiped everything
in
out.
circles
How
with this
stupid
dialogue
could they be?
so you can hear it all.
You seem the soldier type, Tikorian. Why the heck did you join the army in the first place?
Join? I was forced into service. I worked in a hospital before I was in the army. They put the gun in my hand.
Ever pull the trigger on that gun? You know, ever kill someone?
Well, that oddly just ended that conversation. Yeah, unless he went back this direction and froze himself. Door to the cryo lab. See, it kind of feels like almost a follow the leader or find the guy mission. Yeah, that you're supposed to wander around and look for the guy, but I don't think that's the case. I think he may show up in some final boss fight, but I can't imagine there being a real final boss fight because none of the other DLC has really been able to do that. And texture and lighting's pretty bad here. Spacesuit.
Did you need something?
She's literally sitting through a mini nuke.
Careful, lady.
Like, what? Why in the world would you put anything on a chair if you were going to program chairs so the AI people could sit on chairs? I think she's eating a sweet roll, which is a running joke.
Hi, lady.
Like, why put anything on chairs when you knew that possibility could happen? Like, you would have had to known that could have happened. And boy, is it inappropriate for a little girl. Well, we'll just ignore the fact that she's wearing a skirt and just say that is inappropriate for anyone, but a little girl in particular. I definitely do get the feeling that this whole thing may just be a hallucination. So what are we expecting out here?
Hey, don't forget to put on the astronaut suit before starting the decompression sequence.
Yeah, they put you in an autosave scenario. We'll just go ahead and activate that. As far as where we're going, seems like this is a whole different level. It seems like it's going to take quite a while to decompress. Alright. Then we have aliens here who are dead, so apparently their suits failed to protect them in the decompression chamber. You're gonna hear the breathing sound effect, which I imagine will get fairly annoying fairly quickly. Oh, there's another door here. It's not like this area is decompressed. That was the decompression chamber. So maybe there was more of an area that I decompressed than what they had planned on by breaking those energy things. Guess that's what we were doing. Like, I'm just gonna straight up admit that sometimes I can be fairly stupid when I'm mentally burned out and have spent hundreds of hours playing a game, so maybe I was just not paying enough attention. But yeah, it definitely feels like they find a way to access the teleporter. So this is a big circular environment, and you get this big star field, which, let's see if I load here. Let's try a couple things. There's a custom death sequence even, where you just fly off into space. Interesting. So you just don't need a gun. So you have a big area here, which looks nice, but I don't know if that really is anything. If anything, this feels like a boss fight area that they're setting up for, not a not just a puzzle or anything like that. Like that, I would expect, yeah, some giant space alien thing come out here and attack you. There's nothing here. You don't have our drones with you. I activated a panel. Single panel. I hear some dinging. Here's another exposed panel. So I guess maybe this is the game, is that you are going to find these exposed panels, kind of like a hidden thing, almost using your ears more than anything. You've got people running around. Are they supposed to be the indicator of where to go next? I think they may very well be. So is it a Nintendo 3 times this charm, or is it going to be 5 times? 3 times as a charm, it seems. And it might have been cool if we saw somebody being chased there, like Sally. And here we're getting teleported up again. This room must be pressurized. The door cannot be opened until the decompression sequence has been completed. Are we in a bug here? We may be in a real problem here. Because if it just autosaved and I can't click through these, if this is just an infinite loop, that's a problem. And I can't hold down the A button. Let's try this a couple times more, but there might be some problem with the drones being with us that has knocked them. You can see how things are moving ever so slightly, pixel by pixel. Plus that the galaxy ain't big enough. I have like one support drone. Seriously. Game of the Year version. We fixed all the bugs. This is the version they've been selling for probably over a decade. And they never ran into this? And this is a problem inherently with all Bethesda games, is that they're buggy. They don't fix the bugs. I'm glad that there is at least a hope now that Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax and Bethesda that things might be done differently, because this is not acceptable. Okay, I can move a little bit forward, so maybe I can get my cursor over to the switch. Activate it. This should be pressurizing the room. But yeah, this is not how this is supposed to go. This is a generic warning pop-up that shouldn't have been in the game in the first place, because you don't really see pop-ups saying anything else like that anywhere else in the game. It's all much more realistic and obvious. Yeah, I would be fine with Starlink being a 30-hour game after all its hype. I would be fine with coming out with an Elder Scrolls game that's a 30-hour game. Even The Witcher 3, which is probably the closest thing to a Skyrim that came out several years later, it got a little long at 60 hours. This is from the perspective of somebody who is a YouTuber who plays video games all day. Like, if I can't handle it, I don't think anybody can really handle it anymore. We've just got too many games. This requires a key. And apparently the drone killed him. Putting two containers back to back like that is a little weird. Right. And it doesn't feel like there's any more dialogue things.
I'll get the door.
Right. So where's our other guy? He's there. I thought we were gonna miss another character. And the whole crawling and opening doors.
This is kind of exciting, isn't it? I've never seen this part of the ship before.
So it's just squad up, I guess. Let's make sure we can do everything. Doesn't seem like there's too much in this upper level to be concerned with. We'll probably
Pretty, isn't it?
just crash the ship.
Ever see something like this?
That's really something. Almost enough to make you forget we're running for our lives up here.
Sorry, I should get
What is
to it.
this?
Hang on, okay?
Yeah. Would be funny if everybody just stands on this looking at it and then the glass breaks and they all die. No, what I think would be the funniest thing is that interesting hologram. I have no idea what this says. What would be funny, I think, most is if you were still on the table.
Wow. Did you see that? Scary, but also kind of a stupid move on their part, don't you think?
What the hell was that?
Pretty obvious, wasn't it? They're putting on a big show trying to scare us. Means we're getting under their skin. That's a good thing. Of course, now it looks like we've got a big death ray thing we need to take down before they blow up the whole damn planet. But it's nice to know we're having an effect, don't you think?
So they just shot a death ray. Is that the capital wasteland or is this even Earth?
I sure hope they don't figure out where we are. This time I don't think they're going to put me back in a cell.
Aliens. Who'd have believed it? This is nuts. We
Anyways,
might actually.
I keep trying to say, yeah, it'd be really funny as if this was all a simulation or a dream, but you were kidnapped by
Well, hey
aliens,
there,
but then you just immediately
Nice. Okay, if you say so. Lead
but,
the way,
like,
kid.
all you do is actually escape and quickly leave. And you never run into these people because they're all just like hallucinations.
Oh no! They turned this one off too. You're going to have to find the other end and turn it back on. Good luck. We'll stay right here and wait for you.
Just leave them all there for safety's sake. It's not like I really need them.
Get off this ship fast enough.
There is definitely an argument, though, to not just have 24 defense resistance when we can have 78 instead. Particularly if we're going into this weapons lab. And apparently you can just hack these no matter what. It's no intelligence or science skill required, which is interesting. I think these support drones are going to have to prove themselves to be useful fairly quickly, or I'm going to choose to shoot them myself. They're noisy little buggers. Well, that's one down already. So yeah, I think they both have been taken out. Hey, we got a mysterious stranger. What is shooting me? I really thought there was going to be more more logs. Don't even know where the guy is shooting me from. Yeah, I guess that one just spawned behind me. Activate the store. Activate the pod. Atomic pulverizer. Is that a new gun? I don't think so. There's kind of no level up, it seems, to the alien guns. There might have been an idea around that would have made more sense. Yeah. Let's look at the weapons. Scroll up here. You have atomic disintegrators. And then you have an atomic pulverizer that uses atomic atomizers. And only broken ones, apparently. So the atomic pulverizer does 36 damage. While this does 67 damage. We'll try it anyways. It's not like we've got anything to really mess with anyways. I do know that there has to be a unique weapon. Because that's what the speedrunners are usually coming to get when they do this DLC. So this might be that weapon. Although I don't see the real value in the atomic pulverizer. Unless we can somehow get it upgraded. 53. No, it's 39. It's not really doing a lot of damage. I would potentially argue that there's going to be a problem if we find a ninja guy up here, because the fetishization of ninjas, which, let's face it, all ninja myth from Japan is kind of a fetishization of ninjas, has brought them to an incredibly unrealistic level of claimed ability and skill. So I would prefer to not have him magically have some way in which he made it up here to the teleporter with nobody seeing, or beat everybody up here. Right. Are we going in circles? Sorta. Yeah, there's nothing to this weapon. We can try an alien atomizer as a comparison to it, but I think the alien atomizer is just the worst version of the pulverizer. in a lot of ways, this is not a game that needs a Japanese soldier or Japanese ninja samurai. He is dressed as a samurai, not a ninja. But yeah, it's just another element that this game does not need, does not have any deserving element to it. I suppose it might be a case that speedrunners perhaps like the fast firing rate of a energy weapon compared to something that might use a lot more bullets and fire slower, or just fire slower. Are we going the right way? I think we are. Yeah, and back to a disintegrator. There might be an evolved version of the disintegrator. I'm a little surprised there wasn't an evolved version of the shock baton. I thought my drone had taken him out, but even though the drone does seem to do a decent amount of damage, it's not quite enough. Okay. Local map. Seems like there might be something worth investigating over here. Activation, teleportation matrix, experimental weapons drone. Interesting. Well, do I have a way of activating this pod? I think the answer is no. So unless we have some other way of activating something. There's another log. Found one. I guess what we're going to have to assume is combat armor, Tesla armor, a whole bunch of alien epoxy, plasma mines, pulse grenades, Gatling gun, alien disintegrator, atomizers, microfusion bullets. We'll certainly take that. Let's see. It's not really anybody to kill. Some of these guns we can kind of drop as just being things that aren't that useful. Electro suppressor is a better version of the shock baton. Interesting. So I just picked that up at some point and didn't see it. Paulson's revolver. Not super useful. Although it could be with the right repairs. still have some weight issues, to say the least. Does any of this have weight? Are you holding on to too many Buttercup toys? Probably. Imagine we'll control the drone control device going forward forever. Drop all the scrap metal. Small alien crystals, 100. Seems like we might have maxed out at that. Okay. And then if we don't need probably half of these. Alright. Just drop a bunch of stuff and we'll take the horse back. We'll take the Buttercup toys and we'll take it to the baby in the pit. I think that might be like the nicest way to potentially end this whole run of gameplay for Fallout 3 is giving toys to the baby. Of course, I could probably go to like a toy factory and find a whole bunch more toys if I really cared. I don't. Obviously, that would be kind of silly. So this is the way. And over here is some kind of teleporter to the weapons lab. An experiment lab. Let's see. What does this control do? Alright, so this teleported a raider, not a raider. Alright. So death claws, raiders. So this is apparently every time I hit the button, I probably spawned. The training experience with the alien weaponry has made you a xenotech expert. Interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if every DLC guaranteed at least 2 perks. And so by doing this, you open yourself up to 1 perk. It seems if you press the button even once, you get a whole collection of waves. Them throwing sentry bots and things at you. It's quite a lot. And over here. That was a cow. Seriously? So if you just wanted a sitting duck, as far as Brahmin, seems like you could do that. I suspect if I was to jump over to this, I would teleport from there back up there. So my question would be, if I was to jump over this, is there another teleporter? Well, doesn't seem like you can jump over it very intentionally. Whereas you can jump over this. I think you could possibly slowly push this cow onto this, but I don't think it does anything. Alright. So my only assumption here is that you are supposed to just shoot a bunch of sitting ducks here. And kill the Brahmin. But if you were supposed to shoot the Brahmin, no more respawning. And unless that was because there's just a limited number of them, or if it's because this Brahmin is just kind of glitched through this. I don't know. Definitely doesn't feel like there's any collectible or pickup here. It would be a little weird for both auto perks, or both perks, to be at the exact same place anyways. Cannot activate it while the drone control device is active. So apparently something here is stopping me from getting another drone. Possibly the idea that I might already have another drone. I can't activate the guard drone or do anything. Cannot activate another pod while the drone control device is active, which really seems to imply that you can only have one drone per at a time, and that obviously wasn't true. Maybe you can have 2 support drones and 1 weapon drone. Although that wouldn't make a lot of sense either. Okay, here we go to the experiment lab. We haven't been here. And this definitely would be the place, wouldn't it, where you would find an experimental ultra powerful alien weapon. Guess this also would be the place where some fairly horrific experiments might be going on. There is just level of kind of absurd arrogance around the 1950s, 60s alien abduction hysteria. It just really didn't make it never, in my mind at least, made a lot of sense that aliens would come all the way to Earth from entire solar systems away just to do what seemed like incredibly simplistic experiments and torment or attack or kill humans and earthlings for no reason. I wouldn't be surprised if a significant amount of alien abduction stories, of those that weren't just straight up made up, are actually just stories of abuse being made more colorful or being misremembered. I guess at the end of this whole DLC we'll see if we collected everything as far as the logs, but I can't imagine I'm actually going to sit through what would probably be 20 minutes of dialogue. Are these supposed to be like toilet plungers? Or are these supposed to be vials of blood? Why are the chairs like this? They do seem like they might be draining blood out of people. Large alien crystals. There isn't too much as far as this alien technology that looks organic. So that's a crazy sound. We have a wastelander who didn't quite make it, or let's throw him in there and see if it heals him. There you go. It did not. It's just gonna be very weird to spend all this time seeing a lot of repeated nothing to then finally make it to one area where we find one not repeated element of importance. I think what they probably would have needed to do is tone down the level of repetition so everything felt a little bit more important and that there was more of a value to actually moving forward. Here we have a whole bunch of people imprisoned. It looks to me like some of them are aliens themselves. And it definitely seems like aliens are doing experiments on aliens. Of course, they could be completely different species for all we know. Seems to me, though, we blow this up. Only thing that would really check would be if we I missed something. Activate the coolant. Activate the coolant. Activate the coolant. This one apparently didn't get activated. Slow. Now, I would say there's a good side and a bad side to this machine, and they should have been showing this side this way the whole time. So I'm guessing these are going to be like feral versions of the aliens. Which, okay. If they've been experimented on and they're feral, that's something. I assume there is biological research over here. Let's check this out. So it's just labeled as abomination. But yeah, if you're gonna go down the whole route of aliens, you could very possibly, interesting, human flesh is on them, and pack of cigarettes. So maybe these were humans to start with in the first place. Yeah. So maybe they were trying to make alien-human hybrids. Captive 9. Captive log 9. So prison, prison, cell, prison, cell, prison, cell, prison, cell. Nothing special in any of these. I assume the abominations came in and killed the worker aliens, but I don't know where they went as far as their bodies. It really feels like there would have been at least 4 or 5 abominations, and I fought 2. So I have no idea where the others went. But whatever. Guess we move to biological research. Again, I guess maybe your science could have been really low and you wouldn't have been able to activate that door, but if that was the case, can I just open the door? No. That definitely leaves me to believe that there was never going to be a point where you couldn't activate that door. Or if there was going to be a point to that, it was quickly abandoned in favor of not having people lose content because their skill set may be low. Right. Go ahead and just activate that pod. Let's see if you can help take out some of these abominations. Meanwhile, we'll look around. This very much feels like a almost copy and paste of an area we've already been in the game. It's feeling a little clunky. Yeah, I imagine you could take the mole rats and the super mutants and everything else and find a way to reskin all of them while giving them the same AI and make a fully fleshed out different game from Bethesda. It really wouldn't have to be too much longer or too much bigger than this. I kind of feel like, though, you would probably want to start on a small spaceship and then end up on some kind of space base that connected you to several spaceships or an alien planet that connected you to a few different spaceships. Wow. I don't know if that guy intentionally teleported there or if that was just a glitch. If abominations can just teleport, it's an interesting idea, and it does certainly do something that you can't really give to too many enemies. Rad roaches, for instance, would not make sense if they were teleporting all over the place. On the other hand, what I'm suggesting is basically what Skyrim was. Basically what Fallout 4 was, is that they just continued to iterate on the exact same game in the same way that Pokemon Red and Blue is pretty much just a slight iteration below like got Pokemon Diamond and Silver. So this would have also been an opportunity as a standalone game to make some adjustments, and I do think those adjustments have been made. We have been picking up considerably less garbage, even though we're still doing a lot of searching and wandering around. We've not been hamstrung. Let's see, we came in that way. We need to go this way, I believe. Yep. We haven't been hamstrung with making a lot of decisions as far as different weapons or suits of armor. Like, there's been a limitation to all of that. There's been maybe 6 pieces of weapons, and honestly, I don't know what armor you'd even be wearing otherwise. Like, maybe you would just be wearing something like Enclave officer uniform just because you found it, or Paulson's armor sheriff spacesuit. Like, if anything, it seems like they're trying to make you be fairly naked. But if you just come in wearing anything, whatever you were wearing would be the thing you're wearing, and it's definitely the case for me. Apparently these guys cannot activate the door control, which might be something to that. Interesting. We have our side world marker that we put here, seemingly showing here, unless there is a side quest here, which maybe it is. Disable the death raid and reach the bridge of the alien ship. More likely, that seems like that would be the linear stuff that you have to do. You wouldn't be given a choice. Let's see. Oh, it's just so not worth it to even activate these pods if you have to find the exact pixel I wonder if the alien epoxy repair thing is something you pick up at the end as a perk. It kind of makes some sense that whatever alien epoxy you collect then is your resources to repair alien guns, since you're not going to get any more alien guns. Death ray hub, observation deck, and a bridge. Let's, I think, start by activating this control, and that's going to bring everybody here. And the bridge is not activated. So did we get everything otherwise in this area? I think we did. So our 3 remaining guys.
You're really good at this. I hope it wasn't too scary. Pretty good, I guess. This is scary. But it's also kind of fun.
It'd be funny if she was an alien hybrid.
Well, it looks like they're still keeping some of these turned off. But there's one that's on. So I guess that's the way we go. You should probably go through first, in case there's something bad on the other side. And then I can go through after, okay?
So maybe a boss fight.
I think we're getting close. Just gotta keep moving. Sure. Let me see.
Let's see what gear we can have her repair. That. Yeah, repair that. Repair that. And repair that.
All right. I'll make sure they don't cut us off.
And then the other guy basically ran this way to such a distance it may not be worth it to talk to him. And then the samurai guy is still missing, and he seems like he's just going to be gone forever. He seemed to have some really bad
This is crazy, right?
pathfinding there.
It's not just me. We're actually trying to escape from a spaceship? Crazy.
Well, I tried to put a pillow under myself so I'd be slanted the other way, and I do think that helped a little bit, but I'm still not away from having to put on this ridiculously thick neck pillow. So snap that back on. I'm starting to get that crick in my neck, but this is about five hours of
Sure.
gameplay that I've done today. Alright. So the alien biogel became adapted biogel from him. Alright. We're going that way, so let's go check the other way first. See what's behind this door. Support drone. Just here. Can't shoot him, can't activate him. Realign his sensors and activate them. So maybe that's how I got two of them, is that I reprogrammed one and used the remote control on the other. Guess that would make some sense. You can see all these support drones really just swipe. They don't have a weapon on them, so they're purely melee. them getting sent away is actually probably nice, because it does mean I don't have to listen to that nonsense noise as much. Let's just keep moving. Keep moving, keep looking. I thought I would have found a special weapon, but I've either missed it in the weapons lab, or I've already got the special weapon, or I'm going to get it further along. Which, yeah. Sometimes I state the obvious. I think a little too much. Yeah, obviously I missed it, or it's up further ahead, or I've already found it. That's the only three possible options that it could be. Standing in front of this guy and not being able to hit him because of the angle, and him not really doing any damage to me because of my armor. You'd almost expect one of these to explode at some point. You definitely want to see something like that. Yep. And we have to go down. It is strange that the alien weapons don't cut through these shields faster. You would think they would be susceptible to their own weapons. Imagine if we made guns that were like rubber band guns and couldn't actually hurt anybody. I guess we do make things like that, but we don't carry them around like they're weapons or for security. We make squirt guns and things like that. Yeah. Seemingly, I'm allowing a lot of these workers to escape. I wonder if there would be some reward there. It wouldn't be terrible, although I doubt this game would do it, is if we came to this final spot, and in the final spot on this map there's like 10 platforms where the workers can work, workstations where they can work, and each time, if all 10 of them are standing there working at the workstations, it opens up some reward for you that you just wouldn't have seen coming. That may feel a little unfair. Certainly, guess this is the way to the death ray. If you got to the end of the game and had killed a bunch of the workers. But the game did straight up tell you not to kill them. So it really would be your own fault. I guess there is this question. If I was playing this on a very high difficulty level, which I still don't see any reason why you would ever play a game like this on a very high difficulty level. Increased difficulty is just going to make a 200-hour game 400 hours. I don't know if this really is a 200-hour game, but it definitely feels like one at this point. So we came all the way around in a circular pattern. I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually several maps, and we have actually seen the entirety of the upper half of the ship. Yep. You run into a problem, certainly, when you are trying to have realism in the game and you've killed hundreds of these people's friends, and yet they're still coming at you with their same weapons, and at this point they should obviously realize that there is no chance at all that they would survive. Okay, there's a spawn point. It looks like it seems like we're above the planet. It seems like there's several places here where we could activate panels, but the panels themselves seem like they won't activate until we start shooting. So I don't think this is going to be a boss fight in the sense that we see this new giant alien monster or anything like that. I think it's going to be more of just a boss fight in which a bunch of enemies may spawn. But they could only really come from this direction and from this direction. And that seems to be living quarters. Alright. Let's make a safety save. Above here, we have a control. Above here, we have a control. Above here, we have a control. Let's activate that. Alright, that seems like that is doing that. That seems like that is gonna move it. And certainly it's pointing to like a whole different part of the planet. So whatever was potentially nuked here, if this is supposed to be Earth, I would have to kind of assume that this is the moon and we're on the dark side of the moon. And this explosion somehow is still burning in some kind of plasma, oxygen producing fire to illuminate that we're on the dark side of the moon. And behind it is that blue glow. Right. Okay. Alright, well, let's fire. Alright. So we've just made a whole new hole. And that hole seems to have gone out. That just shoots into space, but theoretically an energy beam might go on forever. Neither one of those, I think, is going to open that door to the living quarters. Okay. So I think what you do is let's position it back to the moon and start the cooling things. We may just have to do this, fire this 4 times. Unless there's some other computer terminals with some other buttons that I've just totally missed. Yeah, that's one. I don't know where that gun came from, but whatever. Okay. Things are getting, I guess, blown around. This feels a little too quiet and a little too easy. Yeah. Yeah, and all they can really come from is the teleporter, so it's pretty easy to find them all. Oh. Maybe I could have just hit the button multiple times. And I guess the game has been training us to blow up these things for a long time now in this DLC. I'll grab the last few things with the audio ducking out or going quiet whenever we're inside an inventory. We activate everything there. Death ray disabled. Cannot fire anymore. Okay. And I guess what we're assuming here is that this is not the teleporter out, and we have to go through the living quarters. Which is kind of an interesting depiction of what the living quarters would look like. You have to just be on top of it. So, question. Have we been here? No, we haven't. So it is once again just a completely new area. There's a lot of that. I think you could have gotten rid of a couple of things. I'm being blocked by a shield. When the shield went down, What just happened there? Did somebody hack it? Like, I have no idea what happened there. If that would have been a decent place for the samurai guy to show up, certainly, but visually, I did not see that happen. Maybe it was the abomination. It did something. Maybe they just wanted a scene there and it got programmed way earlier, so it was left in the game. Yeah, I was kind of expecting to run into more of this when they first showed us these shields. I was expecting them to make better use of them. Over encumbered again. Atomizer. Drop that. We can drop that. And I think we can drop 5 of those. Disintegrators. We can drop that. We have a whole bunch of other things. Just not antagonize or agonize over it. Right. So I think you're just going to end up jumping down the center here, since you don't have any other choice. Yeah. Still trying to get biogels, still trying to get epoxy crystals. Alright, so all of them are sleeping in stasis chambers as far as their living quarters. Nice, and you get kind of the thought that this might be a foot locker, but really isn't. You can't actually sleep in them, though. So the fact that you can activate them is fairly pointless. It almost feels like they're trying to introduce the idea of stasis lockers so that we could find Sally's sister in a stasis chamber. And maybe save the day on a happy ending. Although I'm not 100% sure I believe that they should be. There should be happy endings for a Fallout game. Let's see. There's a whole lot of nothing in these places. Yeah, they could have just had fewer rooms. They could have had these stasis chambers in a few other places. Could have had one door instead of 2. Let's check our local map. Okay. Guess we go through this door. And There's another door that way. Guess we'll check out what's this way. Alright. Can't shoot these. I have yet to find a way to turn them off. And if anything, I would guess that there's kind of nothing here. So that just seems like nothing. Unless this guy wants to... Like, this guy won't follow me specifically. So he's not gonna walk towards a shield and try and turn it off. Little turret beeping sound is... In all fairness, I don't know what I would replace the turret beeping sound with, but I do know I would replace it. It's... A soft beep is not good enough. Probably would just have it make a slightly louder turning sound effect, since there is a sound effect already playing when it turns. I wouldn't even be completely opposed to the idea of maybe a sonar like sound. Well, my health is at half, so we'll top ourselves up. We're back to walking into a room and being shot immediately. Captive log 23. This would be a very different experience to play in the first like 5 hours of Fallout. But there is an argument towards coming in here, getting a lot of inventory items and a pretty decent electrical weapons, which you don't need any training or ability to use electrical weapons from the beginning. And then just having these audio logs ready to listen to as you're doing other things. It kind of makes sense. But if you were to do that, you definitely would be doing the same thing that I did effectively, which is I followed a walkthrough guide that told me how to get a Chinese assault rifle far too early for the point where I should have naturally run across a Chinese assault rifle. So yeah, he just walked this way instead of walking this way. There are a few other ways in which walls are blocked, but you only really see it in Fallout 87, really. That's about the only point I ever noticed that they were actively trying to make it more maze-like. A visual laser line from the turrets. Wouldn't have been terrible either. Or the Pip-Boy beeping at you when a turret is locked on. Guessing that there's not too much more, which I'm glad for. It does seem like I've spent about 6 hours in this DLC, and I probably would have appreciated it a little bit more if it was closer to 4 hours. And it's not like these abominations are going to start showing up all over the world, or aliens are going to start showing up all over the world. That's kind of what you would want, is that you could now have more reason to wander the wasteland and encounter a larger variety of enemies, but no, it's all going to be kept very nice and neat on this spaceship DLC. So this looks like this might be intentionally programmed so that the body is there, but maybe not. And then looks to me like we just teleport back. Again, if I've missed something, I've just missed it. So now we are in a different place where we're going to defeat the alien captain. And what you would expect to have happen here is that maybe the alien captain would speak English to you and actually talk to you. But doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. Alien captain just shooting at us. It seems like he's maybe got a special weapon, and we'll want to make sure we get that off of him. As you can see, we are still overpowered. Captain's sidearm. Activate power distribution. What is shooting at me? So he's just playing his little hologram. Activate fire control, activate power distribution. Seems like down here might be something else. Let's just try and be as thorough as possible. Two shock batons.
Wow, this looks just like the bridge on Captain Cosmos. I so much.
So I was just a teleporter.
And I get to aim the death ray.
Defeat the attacking alien ship. Okay.
I've got a lock on their ship. Fire when ready.
Which I guess we should do that now.
Never thought I'd get to do something like this.
We need to
So
mine, sucker.
it seems like this is traded off so that
What did you hear, Sally?
we should shield ourselves
Prepare for a big shot.
and then prepare to fire and fire
She will work.
and then shield. And while we're over here, let's see if we're gonna lose anybody else.
Oh, it's the samurai. We should let him in.
Let's see.
This is just like the last time.
Samurai, should we let him in? Where's the samurai?
Hello, samurai.
So the samurai
Sapped out power.
shows up again.
Some buttons or something to restart the generators.
Buttons, buttons. So this feels like a very busy level. Busy system we've got here. Where we're trying to reset generators. Alright.
Take them down. Aim for the head.
It's like every time we fire, I think somebody's shooting. Right, it's ready and fire. So when it's one shield, that's when you want to fire, I think. But it's a really terrible interface. Certainly.
They hit something big. Shields and Elliot are down. 20%. We're losing systems like crazy.
Yeah, I don't really want to play this a second time. See what maybe this button does. That does like full shields. Alright, well we pulled it off, which is weird because this indicator does not really imply to me that we pulled that off. So everybody except for the cowboy survived.
Hey, I thought you should know someone must have hit a button during the fight just now. If I understood the display correctly, I think we sort of launched a homing beacon of some kind down to the surface. Landed just outside DC. I wouldn't mention it, except that I think, like I said, I'm not sure. I think it's a way to get back to Earth. Seems like there's a teleporter in the captain's quarters. I mean, I guess they're your quarters now. So I guess you can go home if you want. Oh, don't worry, I'll stick around up here and keep an eye on things.
So he's gonna stay. He's probably gonna stay. Let's talk to her.
I hear there's a way off this boat. I'll let you go first, just to make sure it works. And then I'm out of here. I'm gonna see about getting off this thing. Head back to the wasteland with some new toys, maybe carve out a place for myself. Literally,
Again, her
if I
face
have
is
to.
in almost
Odds are
complete
we won't be
darkness.
bumping into each other again, so I just wanted to say thanks. That's right. If it weren't for me, you'd be sitting in a holding cell or lying on some crazy operating table right now. You owe me big time, kid. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
So we lose
Not
her
really
as a
something I'm
repair
interested in
person.
doing again. Sure, let me see.
So
Sure thing.
the problem here is definitely going to come down to, do I just want to kill all these people for their outfits?
Yeah, we won! I knew we could do it! I knew we could beat them! You're even better than Captain Cosmos! I think I'm gonna stay here for a while. I don't think I like it much down there anymore. And there's still a bunch of the ship I haven't seen. I'll tell you what, if I find anything really neat, I'll bring it to you. Okay?
Nothing about her sister, I guess.
know. And you're very welcome. Okay.
Alright, so if we were to just make a safety save here and then shoot her,
My head.
then we could get kind of just a bunch of caps.
Anything I can help with?
We would shoot him. We would get the winterized medic armor, which isn't the worst armor ever. And if we were to shoot him. So if you just are going to be an obsessive...
Hey, guess what? You can go home! I was looking at the controls on the bridge here, and most of it doesn't make any sense to me, because it's in that weird alien language.
So I guess if
There's
everybody
this
else
one
was
thing I
dead,
saw,
you'd get this line
And
of...
I think maybe I
This line of
accidentally
dialogue.
pushed a button while we were fighting that big ship. And I think maybe the button I pushed sent some kind of a thing back down to Earth. I didn't mean to, honest. But this is a good thing. I think now you can use the teleporter in the captain's quarters to get back to Earth. Pretty great, isn't it? Anyway, I just thought I should tell you.
And you seem to not really lose any karma for killing these people. So I guess what happens off Earth stays off Earth. Alright. Mark veteran outfit we don't really need. Once again, overpowered, and we're just gonna leave this girl all on her own and end the quest that way, doing about the most immoral thing you could do. Particularly since we know we had already lost one person. So there's not really a good argument towards we'll drop that one. Plasma grenades and plasma mines. We have a bunch of those. We could drop those too. There we go.
Hello there, Captain. What can I do for you? Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this would have been where you would have found her sister if you were going to find your sister. Maybe there was some DLC, that there was some area I missed. And with that, Oh, I guess you can just teleport yourself back up here. Oh, well, I guess if there is any need to come back here, you can do it. It just has to be wherever we are, which is labeled as alien homing beacon, which is dog meat. I don't know why dog meat decided to follow us. Before there was an alien here. Now we have just an alien, Mr. Gutsy. Mr. Gutsy, Gusty. His alien power cells. An alien blaster. This Mr. Gusty doesn't even look right size. I think I saw something over here, but maybe it was just that tower. So I feel like the downship was here, and it's now been moved. So maybe they recovered their downship, and it's just nothing there. Okay. Either that or the radio signal, which is now no longer available. I probably never actually played it this way. We can't turn on Oscar Zulu. We turn that off as a radio station. Half of these radio stations do just kind of disappear. Okay, full question here. We're not going to listen to all these logs. Let's just do a count and see what the biggest number is. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So if there are 25 and I counted 22, then I missed 3 somehow. And that seems like quite a large number to miss. Meanwhile, you can't just hit play here and let it play. Also, the audio is not playing right. It's just a long pause. So yeah, unless these were really short. Guess we can point it up this way.
Just let me go, okay? This is crazy. This is like batshit unbelievable crazy. I didn't do anything. I don't know what you want with me. Is this because of Anchorage? I swear, I didn't even want to be there, man. You gotta believe me. I didn't even want to be out in the field. I was hoping for a job in Washington, you know? What? What do you want? I don't understand. Why is this happening to me?
Let's make a quick journey to just depositing all this stuff in our inventory. This revolver, we don't really want to hold on to that. Samurai sword. I think I probably already have a samurai sword. Advanced radiation suit here with a rad resistance of 40 might be able to get me up higher. Samurai armor. 30. Samurai helmet and samurai armor might be something you really could have used very early in the game. Yeah, I want to see what I would really be at if I do this advanced radiation suit and come over here. That's 85. Use a Rad-X, and seems like that really gets you only up to 85. There seems to be kind of a hard limit otherwise. Rad-X red resistance plus 75. Let's take some more Rad-X and see if that would help any. Nope. Seems like taking one is the best you can do. And that still just brings you up to 85. Let's just tell the dog. By the way, praising or scolding him doesn't actually do anything.
All of us here thank you. It's the best. Certainly.
These wastelanders inside a megaton look a little bit dressed than sometimes, but the actual megaton city doesn't look particularly that well designed. Okay. What I wanted to check out is if I fast traveled over to here, could I possibly find the...
This is incredible. I'm Colonel Hardigan of the United States Air Force. I'm sorry. What? I don't understand. Oh, speaking to this? Yes. I was saying, I'm Colonel Hardigan, United States Air Force. Our nation has been conducting manned spaceflight tests. I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me. Frankly, we never expected to meet you all. I'm sure there's a great deal that our two species can learn from... Ow! Ow! What the hell? What is this? What are you doing?
Somebody just threw a grenade at me. That wasn't terrible for a Deathclaw. It really does feel like it is just the same thing over and over again.
Where's my boy? What have you done with him? When I get free, so
I hadn't
help
even
me
listened to
God,
this.
I'm gonna kill every last one of you. Ah! What are you doing? What the hell do you want with us? Let me go!
It's like they're recording you just to prove that they're jerks. That oddly seems to be their only logic here. Just 30-second lines of dialogue.
Hey now, no reason to get yourselves worked up. Whatever you need, I'm going to tell it to you. Well, pretty sure you want me to talk into this thing, so here goes. My name is Giles Wollstonecroft. I'm the current Assistant Chief Executive Officer of the Vault Tech Corporation. I was inspecting the construction site of Vault 76 when I was captured what I can only assume are alien beings from another world.
Here's another reference to Vault
Not sure what they want
76.
from me or what they will do to me. Whatever they need, I will readily provide. Perhaps I can bridge our communication gap and establish a rapport with them. We can enter into an exclusive trade agreement. In fact, instead of talking to this damn machine, I'm going to attempt to address them directly. On behalf of the Vault-Tec Corporation, I'd like to extend a heartfelt welcome to you. Wait, you don't need that. Wait.
And see, it's just so easy to be a little bit off as to where I need to go. I'm gonna have to bring up this map. And let's see. Yeah, it is actually much more here. I guess if these keep themselves short.
I'll talk into the thing. I don't know why you brought me back here. We've done this a whole bunch of... Hey! Giddy up, Buttercup! Wow! I always wanted one of those. Why do you have one? I don't understand. What do you want? It's a toy. A toy! Why are you so excited? You're weird.
Yeah, it seems like the aliens very well may just be obsessed with the giddy up buttercups. Wow, this whole line of dialogue is just not playing. Yeah, that just seems completely glitched. Yeah, this is a really good gun. Just fast and does enough damage.
Private Lawrence Mears, U.S. Army Medic, serial number 3476511. Private Lawrence Mears, U.S. Army Medic, serial number 3476511. But you could do whatever you want to me. I'm not saying, Jack. Stick it where the sun don't shine.
It's actually over here.
Oh, my.
It's near the factory, not the building.
Lawrence Mears, U.S. Medic.
So they do seem to have some kind of mind control thing.
Oh man, I've seen this on TV. You're going to eat me, aren't you? Like some sort of delicacy on your planet, right? Right? Well, I hope you choke. I hope you stump your stupid little green faces choke to death. Unless this is like that other show where I get put in some sort of weird alien zoo. That might be okay.
You're just really not getting much here.
Holly Beresford, a linguistic specialist for the USSA. I think I'm beginning to understand you, but you need to stop shocking me. Damn, I wish you could understand me. Do you understand?
Hey, we've got some Enclave officers.
That's it. You get it. I mean you no harm. I just want to learn how to speak. We can discuss what you need from us. What are you doing with that needle? No, get it away from me. No, please. We can be friends. You don't need to.
This is quite a lot as far as a defended position. Yeah, I may not be able to take on an entire Enclave area. And this does set up for an odd situation where the Brotherhood of Steel DLC may really have set this up in such a way that there is Enclave all over the place. And there's just like Ascension, announces, community. Just trying to do this fairly quickly. Let's see if there's actually anything here. We're going a little long here trying to listen to the audio logs, but dealing all of this. Pause now. Pause now. Pause now. Pause now. Yep. Didn't let me take down the turrets. Yeah, it just doesn't really make sense that there is this whole extra Enclave stuff that's been added. It's kind of a smart move to take the Hellfire armor, so we'll take that with us. Back to the notes.
This is my final message. If this doesn't work, I hope someone gets this recording and can bring it back to Earth. I've been able to figure out how to use some of the alien devices, like this recorder, and I think I know what they want with our world. They mean to take as many of us as they can and change us into some sort of abomination. Many of us have been killed because of their experiments. They've been keeping us in cells and then moving us one by one to their experimentation labs. I've managed to escape, but they are looking for me. You've got to send help up here. As far as I can tell, they're never gonna stop until they've captured hundreds, maybe thousands of us. The good news is that they're totally reliant on technology. Without it, they're no tougher than you or I. A small, well-equipped force could take this ship and free all the prisoners on board. That's your best chance. I've got to keep moving, so I need to hide this tape. Good luck to all of us, and Godspeed.
Okay. So the Yankee Bravo signal, which apparently I turned off. You can hear some ghouls. But there's a like sewer thing. Sewer entrance or something. Something you would just totally miss. Normally. I may very well have been in here before. This is about the only one that's slightly different as far as the audio logs. Although it is possible some of these other radio signals.
Why can't I feel my arms?
Yeah, I haven't been here before.
Are those my arms? What did you do? Oh God, put them back. Put them back on.
Well, we've goofed around with this gun, I think, enough to see that it does not work. It does not stand up to something like Metal Blaster, which would just do a lot more damage, or the Chinese assault rifle, which really is just like the best gun, I think, on average. Alright, so what's going on here is we were supposed to have seen some ghouls kind of dancing around, making that radio sound, and that there should be a ham radio somewhere around here. So if it's not this way, it must be the other way. Which is interesting, but I don't think it really leads to anything. And when I say dancing around, I'm not sure if that really is an accurate explanation of what it's gonna be. One thing you can definitely tell is is that even using the Chinese assault rifles gonna be something. Oh, and boy, are we back to just the darkness, the brown darkness stuff. So that was radio signal Yankee Bravo. And here there's a Grognard the Barbarian for your effort, and some stim packs, and a pistol, some sugar bombs, and that's pretty much it. I don't think there's a switch here that opens up a panel that sends you any lower. And so that turned off the radio station in a different way.
What did you do to my legs? Frank? I can't see you! Frank! Frank, what did they do to you?
Yeah, and it does just seem like the aliens' only real desire was to turn people into abominations.
Oh God. What are you doing to me? What's that thing? Get it out of me! It hurts! Please stop! No!
It seems just so weird that I probably have missed significant portions of where these switches would have been. Like, it would not really give me much content, but there probably is a very small room, I wouldn't even call it a dungeon, everywhere where we found one of these switches that could have turned the signal off. And now it's permanently off.
Imagine, I'm actually on a spaceship.
And it's very possible I missed a couple of these too, since there's no quest around it.
Oh, talking to this? What is this? Is this the space phone? Hey, Marsh, this is Janet. You will never guess where I am. Never. Oh! I wish I could hear you, but I'll just tell you. I'm in space. I was driving along the highway when there was this light, and suddenly I'm on this real spaceship. No joke!
It's kind of funny I can find a book after being at 100% already.
I bet I'm the first one they've met. So I figure I'll talk with them a while, then I'll join you later. And
These crystals seem to just have value.
Oh, I only had my camera.
And frankly, very little
They're
value.
pointing at some table with all sorts of gizmos sticking out of it. Gotta go. Kisses.
So I suppose if you'd found very few of these alien captive logs, you would still get the general story, and that's probably what they had to fall back to. Nothing here is really revealing anything interesting.
Please, just let me go.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize my health was that low. We only got one perk. What was it? Anyways, that we did get from that DLC. Whereas I would have thought we would have gotten two. Xenotech expert. Increasing your damage output with alien technology by 20%. So I wonder if maybe there was another way to get another perk. Okay. So that was all of the DLC for Project Zeta. And that was that one radio station that I thought might be worth checking out, but really it just proved that it's probably not worth checking out anything else. And then overall, we just have the riverboat landing and the last bit of DLC, and then we're gonna be done. Like, there's a little bit all over the place, certainly, that we've missed. I would say a decent chance that we're still missing somewhere around 22% of all the content this game has to offer. But if we were to start to just eliminate things that don't really matter, like the power station or well, Evergreen Mills kind of didn't matter, even though it really should have. Vault 106 kind of matters, but it kind of doesn't. Like, so many of these things are just such standalone elements where it would have made a lot of sense to have a quest that said visit all the major cities as step one, and you had to just go to each city as a way of doing things, of just setting up the player and setting expectations. Yeah. The thing I want to do, though, is I do want to do the National Guard Depot, which means I want to get that code, and I have that open for next time. And so we'll start by doing the National Guard code and the family code, and then it is just do the local flavor and investigate the riverboat, which I am fairly certain is DLC. If it isn't DLC, then it's oddly just been at the bottom of below DLC. But yeah, I could see us having as little as 2 more episodes, probably closer to 4 episodes, and then we'll just be done with the game. Maybe I'll get really ridiculous and take the toys to the baby in the pit as a silly way to end. But in reality, there is no good ending here. We know there's not going to be a good ending. You're going to either run around Megaton and just look at it as it is, look at your house, which, while it is nice to have a house, even in Skyrim, where you could do a lot more with your house, having a house loses its appeal fairly quickly. There really isn't a new game plus here, as far as I can tell. If there was, I should have been able to do it. There really isn't a reason to just wander around the wasteland grinding. Clearly, that's what they wanted to have happen in Fallout 76. And while there is a small community of people that were able to embrace Fallout 76 for being a game as a service, most people pretty quickly rejected it and found it dull, because there wasn't really a story or anything to it. So many people were chasing after World of Warcraft, and arguably maybe this game came out within the same decade that World of Warcraft came out, but nothing can be World of Warcraft. Not even World of Warcraft can be World of Warcraft as far as getting a whole generation of players, a subset of gamers certainly, but there was a large percentage of people that played World of Warcraft and grinded on it on a daily basis and just kept playing and playing and playing and playing for years on end. But Fallout 3 is not that game. Obviously, there's no reason to keep on playing. MMOs have the effect of your friends being with you and the game being fairly simplistic, and that's not really what's going on quite with Fallout 3. And in a lot of ways, Fallout 3 is trying to be several different things at once, and I guess I'll go into more detail on that thought later, but clearly it came from being a role-playing game, and then they wanted it to be a first-person shooter, so they added the first-person shooting element so it would sell better and be more approachable for the average gamer. They added that somewhat, but then they also had VATS, and you really have to still use VATS, so it's still really just an RPG game with some flashy animation and the potential to pretend like you're first-person shooting. It's still running a dice roll every time you pull the trigger as to whether you hit somebody or not. But then it also wanted to be an open world MMO, and it really fails in that way because there is no multiplayer at all. I could see putting multiplayer in this game, and that might help a little bit, but even if you could mod in multiplayer into this game, I imagine most people would just run around and finish quests without you and run in different directions. So yeah, it's almost an oxymoron to think about having a co-op game or multiplayer game and having an open world where people might work together. If you're going to have an open world and multiplayer, you almost have to take an antagonistic stance always, because forming parties and staying together in parties is too difficult for most players. But yeah, I don't really blame Fallout 3 for trying to be a first-person shooter. It really should have gone in that direction a lot further, and arguably it still hasn't done that way. So when Starlink actually comes out and I start seeing reviews for it, I'm really hoping that it is very much a first-person shooter first and an adventure game second, and has relatively light RPG elements. But we shall see what happens there. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.